should have much more money saved. I probably should be a millionaire. Welcome everyone to Chrissy's Trading Desk. On today's episode, I want to go over all of my personal finances from the perspective that I want to be transparent on this channel. I realize that not a lot of channels on the internet, especially when it comes to trading and finances, they don't often break down what kind of money they make, or if they do, they show you like one bank account where they have a ton of money in it. So I'm not going to show any of my bank accounts or anything like that. That's absurd. But what I'm going to do is talk about the amounts of money that I have in each area and break down how I obtained that money and how long it took me. So you see that I'm not some sort of like get rich quick scheme bro type of situation, and just have this on my channel starting now as a marker and a starting point, because I know my wealth will grow much more as the years move forward. But I wanted to document it at this point in time for transparency purposes, and so you see where my financial journey is, that I'm not trying to inflate or act as if I'm much further along than I really am or something of this nature. If anything, I wish I had invested much more when I was younger. That would be the first takeaway from this video, would be max out your 401k and your Roths when you are younger. Start as early as possible. I see people now talking about they have net worths of millions of dollars in their 20s. So it's almost like start when you're 13 investing. I'm actually starting a Roth. I'll start with that for my son, child custodial Roth IRA. Right now, there's currently 11,500 in there, but I am trying to aggressively invest it. So by the time he's in his 20s, it will have compounded, especially if we continue to add money every single year into this. And I teach him the habits of compound interest. The next thing I want to talk about is my 401ks. I have several of them because I worked at several different places, but I have one 401k that has around $126,000 in it. And then I have another 401k that has over 28, almost 29,000 in it. And then I do have Roth IRAs. I have several. I need to probably roll them in. But in one of them, I have 7,652. I think at the time of recording, I was higher. So I might have like lower figures with the numbers that I'm showing. I'm trying to like show you on the screen as well. And then I do also have another IRA with $1,276. And then I have an individual money market account that has $8,100 in it. And then I have another individual investment account where I just am aggressively invest into it. And right now I have a little over 22,000 in that account. I do also have another trading account, which is a robo trading account where I allow the robo advisor to trade for me. And right now I have a little over $7,000 in that account. I also own some crypto, but not much. I own under $200 in crypto. So that crypto portfolio is extremely small. I do also have some just straight up investments in Apple, Amazon, Coin, Hood, and I have about $1,142 in there. I do have another IRA that I forgot to mention earlier. I have two more actually. And one of them has $9,960 in it. And then I have another IRA that has $2,533 in it. I do have money in high yield savings accounts, which a lot of it I'm starting to move into money market accounts. And I have about $30,000 in those savings accounts. Right now, I ended up aggressively moving a lot of my money around to make more money in the market. Also, do not have any typical debts that you would think that maybe somebody would have with credit cards. I do have my mortgage. When I sold my other property, because I had two rentals at one point, I ended up making a large sum of money. So I was able to put a lot of equity and money down on my house. So if I was to go to sell it, I'm assuming it'd be somewheres in the price of $90,000 in equity. I don't know, could be more, could be less. I'm not sure, depending on the market. And then I do have another rental property that I probably would, just to be safe, say 75,000 in equity in that property as well. It could be a little bit less, could be some more. Depends again on the market. And I think this is last but not least, I have about $3,200 in my trading account that I'm day trading and swing trading in right now. So altogether, it is someplace in that ballpark of 400K, something like this. At this point, again, I should have much more money saved. I probably should be a millionaire, but due to the fact that I did do a lot of shopping, and that's not the end of my money. I don't have any debts like I mentioned before. I pay credit cards at the end of every month. I only put on credit cards my normal expenses during the month that would be quote unquote coming out of my debit. But because I earn such fantastic cash back on several credit cards, I earn hundreds, I mean thousands of dollars back at this point in cash back because I spend on those accounts. And then sometimes with those special credit cards, you can have situations where they're giving you more money back. I have one credit card that, depending on what I purchase, I get up to 6% back. And then if I'm using things like Rakuten, where I'm getting even more, like 10%, 15% back on purchases affiliated to those said credit cards, I'm constantly earning money back on my purchases. There's barely any purchases at this point that I'm not earning cash back on. I highly suggest you get on that. I do have the link to Rakuten below if you're interested. Be finding your own credit cards with cashback rates that would be supplemental to your income, if you will. However, you must make sure to pay them off every month to not incur any of the actual interest fees, anything of this nature. I pay mine like clockwork. I pay mine usually multiple times a month. And I also do pay extra money on my mortgage every month to try to pay down my house quicker. I've been doing that since the beginning of my mortgage. I don't pay like a ton extra. I pay, I think it's $50 a month extra. I'm probably going to start upping that in attempt to pay off my mortgage even faster. So that's just one way I am trying to build my wealth and pay down some of my quote unquote what would be real debt, which would be my house. And then I do have debt of my vehicle. I owe probably around $3,000 on that, but I could easily pay that back with the money depending on the time of the month that's in my checking account. I didn't mention how much is in my checking. I maintain always probably at least 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 in my checking account at all times for the most part. So, and sometimes it can be more than that depending. So I could pay that off, but I haven't yet because I worked that out with the bank beforehand. I knew exactly how much I was paying over what amount of time. So paying it quicker isn't really going to do much for me in this situation. But with my house, it would. So I am attempting to pay that off quicker. So those two things are my only real debts. And outside of that, other capital here and there, probably with a lot of things that I could sell. I have things in storage that are of value. I know I shopped a lot when I was younger, but Some of the things that I did shop for actually did gain value, and I could sell them for probably quadruple what I paid for them. So I do have a decent amount of money in storage, but that's not necessarily liquid where you could just pull cash out. I would have to sell those things. So I didn't really include them in any of the money figures that I was talking about today. Like, it's just general things from my life that if I had to, quickly liquidate, I know I could procure cash for. So, this is my current net worth. I am trading right now to begin to create more wealth for myself. I'm learning the markets. I have procured all of this money through compounding interest and saving through your typical, what would be corporate 9 to 5. However, I did strategically move through corporate and became a high earner to be able to save these amounts of money. And then on top of that, I did, when possible, try to put as much money into my 401ks when employers matched. So anytime I got any type of large sums of money, I would put it into savings, different investments. Recently, I've been more aggressive with some of my investments because I've been learning much more. I've even considered changing the name of this channel to Chrissy's finance desk or something like this, because I don't want to just discuss trading. I want to discuss all kinds of other different things outside of that, like investing, things with finance in general, best practices, ways to earn money, etc., etc. So, if you're into this type of content, make sure to give me a like and a subscribe so you can follow along with my journey and also learn any tips and tricks yourself to grow your financial status. And if you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them down in the comments. So until the next time, guys, happy trading.